What if you could have a developer on standby ready to build or fix anything for your Shopify store anytime you need it? That's exactly what Cursor AI feels like. In this video, I'll show you how easy it is to set up Shopify local development with Shopify CLI and then use Cursor AI to create custom sections or features for your store. No complicated coding, no waiting or high costs, just simple, quick solutions at your fingertips. Let's go to my laptop and I'll show you how to set everything up. If you have a Shopify store, you know that you can edit the code of this Shopify store. If you go to your themes, so online store, themes, and then you go to these three dots and click edit code. This will get you to the Shopify's code editor, a good code editor where you can do most of the things you may want to do on Shopify. But if you're a developer, if you need some more functionality, this code editor is limited. It has its problems. For example, you cannot search for terms inside the whole theme. If you try to undo some changes, sometimes it just erases everything on the page and then you're confused, you don't know what happened. Maybe you refresh the page, but the changes were lost. Developers and people who work on Shopify themes more often usually use something like VS Code. You would have to install VS Code to your computer and then connect it to Shopify, download your theme and work on your theme directly. But VS Code is not the only code editor. There are many code editors out there, and recently a code editor that is based on VS Code came to the market and changed everything, and that is Cursor AI. So Cursor is a code editor that has AI integrated in it. There are more code editors that have AI integrated in them. VS Code has AI with Copilot. I've tried that. I've tried other options. Cursor stood out for me, and I'm gonna show you in this video how you can install it and connect it to your Shopify store so that it can help you develop your Shopify store faster and better. And in order to do that, we're gonna need a couple of things. So we're gonna need Cursor, and we're gonna get to it a bit later. And we're gonna need Shopify CLI installed on our computer. You can find that at Shopify CLI. You just search it on Google, you're gonna find the page. So if you're on a Windows computer, you'll have to install these here. If you're on a Mac like I am, you can just go to Homebrew. Again, if you're on Linux or on Windows, you will have to install all these packages separately. You're gonna have to download them and install them. But for Mac users, things are much easier. In order for these lines to work on our computer, we're gonna have to install something named Homebrew. You're gonna find it at this link here, brew.sh. You're gonna copy this line. This is a terminal line. I'm gonna show you in a second what that does. And you're gonna open a terminal. In here, you're going to paste the line that you just copied and enter. You'll need to add your password. As you can see, I stole the laptop from my wife, and now I don't know if I know the password. Let me try again. Yes, I cracked it, and now I'm gonna press enter so that I continue the installation, and now Homebrew will get installed on this laptop. After some time, we have Brew installed. We're just gonna have to run these commands here as well. You're gonna get these recommendations here, which you will have to do in order for Brew to work. So I'm gonna take them one by one and paste them in the terminal here. We have the first two, and then we have the last one. And now if I go and type Brew help, I should get all the documentation from Brew. So whenever you have Homebrew installed, if you type here Brew, you should see this list. So the things that you can do on Homebrew. Now we can go back to Shopify CLI. In order to have Shopify CLI installed, now that we have Brew installed, we just have to copy these two lines here and paste them inside our terminal. Then hit enter. This will take a bit of time too, so I'm gonna pause here. And after a couple of minutes, we are ready with Shopify CLI. Now if you open a terminal and type there Shopify version, you should see something like this. Now I'm on 3.72.1, but you might be on a different version whenever you install this. So now we have CLI installed on our computer. How does that help us? Now, through this Shopify CLI, we're going to be able to download this theme on our local computer and then we're gonna be able to edit the theme using Cursor AI. In order to download the theme, we're gonna go back to the terminal, and I am going to log into my store, Shopify theme dev -- store, and you're gonna write the handle of your store. In my case is Shopee Soap. So after you have this command entered in your terminal, you're going to press enter, and the terminal will ask you to verify the login inside the browser. So you're gonna press and enter. You're gonna be redirected to the browser. As I said, I stole the laptop from my wife, so that's why we have her here. And I confirm the login, and we have the login here. They say that I'm not inside a theme directory, so I will have to do that. Now we are logged into Shopify, but I should set up the folder on my laptop. So I'm gonna hit cancel now. Then I'm gonna go to my desktop, and I'm gonna create a new folder named Shopee Soap. In here, I'm gonna type cd, like change directory, and a space. Then I'm gonna open a Finder and drag the folder that I just created in here, like that. And then in the terminal window, I'm going to press enter, and this will change the directory of the terminal in this folder right here, where I will want the theme to be downloaded. Now that I am in that folder, I'm just going to type Shopify theme pull. And this command will download the theme to that directory. So I'm going to press enter, and I'm presented with a couple of options. These are the themes on my store. So if I go and open the store, I see that I have more themes in here. This is just a test store, so that's why it's so messy. And if I open the terminal again, and we are checking the themes that we have here. So Shopee Soap Update is this one, which is live. We have Dawn, which is here. We have Main, which is here. So all the themes are listed here. We just have to choose one to download, and I'm going to choose the live theme, and you can do that by just pressing the arrows on your keyboard. I'm going to select the live theme, and I'm going to press enter, and then the theme will get downloaded to that folder that I just created. And now I have the theme there. So now if I go to the folder that I just created and open that up, I can see that all the files for my theme are in here. And if I want to preview this theme locally, I can open up again a terminal, type in here, change directory, and then go to desktop and take the folder again so that we have the path. Then I'm going to press enter in here. Now we have the folder there, and I'm going to say Shopify theme dev. I'm going to press enter, and now the theme is previewed locally. So if I copy this link here and go to a new tab and enter it here, I can see that a version of the live theme is also available for me locally for when I'm doing edits, so that I can see directly what I'm doing and decide if I want to push it live or not. So now let's go ahead and create a Cursor account and install Cursor as well, so that we can do edits to our theme. So I'm gonna head to cursor.com, and I'm gonna download it for Mac. I'm gonna open that up, and I'm going to install. If you didn't have any code editor on your store, you can just click continue. If you have different options in here, or you know what you're doing, you can import from other code editors. I'm just gonna hit continue here because there is no code editor on this computer. Then continue and log in. So before using Cursor, we will have to create an account. I'm gonna go ahead and create one now. And this is how Cursor looks like. It doesn't look like much because it's empty now. I'm gonna go ahead and open a folder, and I'm gonna go to my desktop and open the Shopee Soap folder that I just created. And now we can see how Cursor looks like. We have this welcome. I'm gonna close that, and these are my files. So inside, if you're familiar with Shopify, you know that a theme has these folders, and you can open the folders to see the different assets under each of these folders. So I'm just going to open up my theme file, and to do that, I'm going to press Ctrl P to search, and I'm gonna open the theme.liquid file, which is this one over here. Of course, Cursor has a lot of skins that you can use. I think this is the default one. I'm not gonna change it for this tutorial, but you can update how things look in here. And to make sure things work, I'm going to add something in my theme.liquid file. So I'm gonna go underneath the head, and I'm gonna add here an h2 tag, and I'm going to save. Now, after adding this, if I open up our theme, the text was added here at the top. So if I open Cursor, let's make it smaller so that we can see the change happening. If I go and change this text to homepage and save, this is going to refresh and the text will change. This is the basics of a code editor working locally with Shopify CLI. It's much easier, it's much faster than working inside the Shopify's code editor. Whenever you do a change here, for example, if I go and type here style and color red, I'm going to save. After saving, the page will refresh and the changes will reflect on my theme. But this is just the local version of the theme, because if I go back to my original theme, which is here, the original theme does not have those changes because the original theme is on the Shopify server, and this is just on my computer locally. So whenever you will want to push any of the changes to the Shopify server, you will have to push it through the Shopify CLI, and you can do that from Cursor AI as well. So you're gonna go and open a terminal, because you can open terminals inside Cursor as well. Inside the terminal, you can write Shopify theme push. And if you enter that, it will ask you to update one of the themes. And the theme we want to update now is the live one, which is Shopee Soap Update. And I'm going to select that. Of course, you should not push changes to the live themes of your stores like that. You can select a different theme, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to just push this to my live theme, and I'm going to confirm changes. The theme is uploading now, so all the files are updated. And when this gets to 100%, so here on the main domain, if I refresh the page, I'm gonna get the updated theme that I just worked on. So this is how you work with Cursor on your theme. Now, if you want to find out what other commands you can use inside Shopify CLI, you just have to type Shopify commands, and you're gonna get a list with all the commands that you can type into and work with when it comes to themes, when it comes to plugins, and so on. Because I couldn't stand how the code was looking, I went and I've installed a couple of plugins, which you can do here. You can go to plugins and search for the languages that you plan on using. For Shopify is HTML, Liquid is JavaScript. You probably can install some others if you plan to do something else, but to highlight the code as you can see it here, you can just install those. Of course, you might need other plugins. You can do your research on that. If you want to change how the colors look, you can go to Cursor here, to settings and to theme and color theme. You can select a couple of them. You have some here. You can search for others. So this one looks kind of good. So let's go back to what we were doing. At the moment, we have our theme locally and we can play around with it. Let's take the extra head text out and you can just search for whatever you want in here. Homepage, which is this one here. And I am going to erase that. Once I've done that, the page refreshes, the text is gone, and we can go ahead and do some other development. And the beauty of working with Cursor is not only the benefits you get from a code editor. With a code editor, as I said earlier, you can search all over your theme. For example, if you don't know where this element here is on your theme, you can just inspect the element, find a class or an ID for that element, and then you can go and search on the entire theme without knowing which is the element. You already found the section which is responsible for that element. So it's really easy to find elements on the page with a code editor, but we don't want just the code editor functionality. Cursor AI has much more than that, and let me show you how we can just create sections out of the blue. Let's say that we want to add at the bottom here on our home page, we want to add an FAQ section. I'm just gonna let Cursor create that for me. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go to my folders here, and inside the section folder, I'm gonna add a new file, and I'm gonna say this is faq.liquid, and this is an empty section file, but a Cursor will write some code for me, and I'm gonna just click here and say Command L. This will open up the chat window, and I'm gonna add a prompt in here. Try to create a prompt that describes the best what you want. Let's see what this prompt will create. First is giving us the schema, which is very important. We have the default questions and answers. We have the styling. Of course, if you have preferences, you can mention them in your prompt. We have the JavaScript for opening and closing the FAQs, and I'm going to just apply this. As you can see, just pasted everything that we need in here. The HTML part is at the top, then we have the schema, then we have the CSS, and then we have the script, and I'm gonna save that, right? Now nothing happened on our page because the section is not added, but now we have a new section created, and I'm gonna go and I'm going to add this section, FAQ section. So in order to customize the local theme that you see here on this domain, you will go back to the terminal where you started this preview. As you can see, we can press the E letter to preview the customizer, and you are going to see a customizer as it would be on your store, but this is actually responsible for the local version of the theme, the one that we are working on right now. So this is the local version that I'm customizing, and I'm going to add a new FAQ section, which should appear here. Let's see why this section doesn't show. Let me go back to the terminal, and we have an error here, and I'm gonna feed this back into Cursor because the error comes from the section it created. So I'm gonna go back to the chat here, and I'm gonna paste the error, and I'm going to just hit enter, and it's going to attempt to fix the issue that it created initially. Let's see if that fixes it. I just applied the change, and now I'm gonna accept, and I'm gonna go back to the terminal, and now as you can see, this section has been synced with the theme. And if I go to the editor here that is responsible for the local theme, and I go at the bottom, I add section FAQ, now I should see the section, and it's here, and you can see it's already styled and everything. So the section is at the bottom. We have all the settings Cursor created for us, and I'm gonna save that. As you can see, all the questions and answers are static. Usually I would have made like a block for each question and so on, but you really have to be careful when creating your prompt. You have to tell Cursor everything you want. For example, in this case, I would say I want to be able to add more than 5 if needed. So I think this can solve that. Now it's going to modify that section for me, and the section becomes a little bit simpler. Let's wait for it to finish, and I'm gonna go and apply the changes. As you can see, when you apply, some code gets deleted and some code gets added. Once you accept here, the code gets updated. And if you go to the terminal, you see that the section was updated. And if I go to the live version of the theme, if I refresh here, I can see that I have the section. So now I can go ahead and add multiple questions to my section, and I can save that. If I refresh the page, At the bottom, I have 5 questions, which open whenever I click on them. And that's how I've created a new section for my theme. Of course, you can go ahead and add more customization. You can ask Cursor to style it different and do whatever things you want on this section, but that's the idea. You can just have sections created for you. As you can see, the section is also mobile friendly. It came out like that. Let's say this is the final version. After chatting with Cursor for a while, you came to a final version and you want to have this publish to your store. You will just have to go back to the terminal. And by the way, I have this terminal open like that because I didn't have Cursor in the beginning. So I started the server on this terminal, but you actually have a terminal inside here, inside Cursor. So you just go to terminal and say new terminal, and you have it here. You can do the same thing I did in the beginning inside Cursor if you have Cursor installed and you have an account. So let's say this is the final section and you want to push it to your store. What you have to do is open a new terminal, and we have one here. So I'm going to just use this one here, and I'm going to say Shopify theme push. I'm going to enter. It's going to ask me on what theme do I want to push this change, and I'm going to select the theme that is live, but you can always have a duplicate of your live theme and send the changes you've done to that copy of the theme, which would be here under unpublished. I'm just going to push it on my live theme, and I'm going to press confirm. And now the changes are sent to my live theme. So the FAQ section was sent to my live theme, but if we go to the page and we refresh, we will not see it at the bottom. And that is because we didn't push the JSON as well. We just pushed the section. So if I go here to customize and add section, I can search for it, FAQ. I'm going to find it here and I can add it like that. We have now 3 questions pre-populated. I can add more if I want, and then I save. Now I have the FAQ section at the bottom. So this is how you can connect to Shopify, download one of your themes, create new sections using AI, using Cursor, and changing things that usually would be done by a developer. So to summarize everything up, let's say you've installed already Shopify CLI, you have Cursor on your computer and you want to work on your Shopify theme. I would open up Cursor first, and inside Cursor I would open the folder where I have my theme locally. So in this case, I'm going to go to desktop Shopee Soap. This is my folder and I have all the files in here, and at the bottom I have the terminal. If you don't see the terminal, you can go to the terminal tab here and add a new terminal. In here, you're going to be able to connect to Shopify. So you will want to say something like Shopify theme dev and then hit enter. This will start a server. So you're going to have your theme served locally here. Now, after making any changes to your theme, you will want to push your changes to Shopify, and you will not be able to do it from this terminal. You will need to open a new terminal. And you can do that by just clicking here, split. So I'm gonna hit split here. I have the server side, which is here, and I have a new terminal where I can say Shopify theme push, or if you want to pull a new version of the theme, maybe something changed on Shopify server, you can say Shopify theme pull and hit enter. You're gonna be asked which theme you want to pull. Now you're gonna pull the version you want, and I'm gonna hit enter. Then the theme will update with the changes on Shopify server, and I can start working. So these files are already updated. If you do any changes, so you create a new section or you create anything on the theme, then you can write here Shopify theme push, but you will have to keep an eye on this part of the terminal where you have the server, because sometimes you may get errors from your editing. So if Shopify doesn't like something that you've done, they will give you an error here. So whenever you do a Shopify theme push, nothing will change on Shopify server, and you may wonder where your change is. If you have errors in here, you may want to fix those before Shopify will take your code. So this is kind of it. Like if I hit now Shopify theme push, I'm going to push the changes. Of course, there are no changes. Again, I'm going to be asked to select the theme I want to push my changes on. And I'm going to select this one, hit enter. The theme will get updated, and yes, confirm. The theme will get updated. And that's how you work with Cursor and update themes on your Shopify store. Having the right tools and strategies is like having a secret weapon for your Shopify store. Cursor AI makes building and customizing themes so much easier, but here's the thing, your store performance is just as important as its design. A slow store can cost you sales no matter how great it looks. If you're serious about getting the most out of your Shopify store, don't let slow speed eat up into your profits. Check out this video right here to learn how to optimize your Shopify store for speed and performance.